What is so special about iOS 9 and these other apps?
Look, you know my great affection for the Kardashians. And if you look at the free apps, you'll see a dominance of the Kardashian family and all of their apps. But if you look at the paid apps, if you look where the money is, a remarkable thing happened this week where ad-blocking technology apps have garnered 3 of the top 5 spots in the best-selling apps on the App Store for the iOS. And this is an entirely new technology that keeps ads from showing up on your phone across all kinds of apps. And this is, of course, a great concern because name your company of choice, but their plan someday to have revenues in a mobile environment is advertising. And Apple now introducing technology, allowing for technology to keep those ads from showing up on people's phones, and people are flocking to these apps in size right now, even as we speak, downloading these apps and paying a lot of money to do so. Of course, it's good money for them. It was overlooked when these phones were announced. There was a lot of focus on how the phones were going to work, and pressing the phones on how cool they were, or how powerful the camera was, or the neato technology that these new phones represent. But the technology of this new iOS could have a dramatic impact on businesses across all of mobile computing because it takes away that key revenue source. And what we're seeing from users is they want that technology.
Cory, let me say, I love Apple. A little personal disclosure here. I hate ads, so I'm very happy that they're doing this. But I use Google Chrome as my web browser because I just think it's better. It seems like Google is not helping out with Apple, at least from what I've read. They're giving developers codes to get around this ad-blocking technology that comes in iOS 9.
Yeah, and Apple clearly recognizes that this is an arms race. So rather than incorporate the technology itself into iOS, they've opened it up so other developers can essentially try to top each other in the same way that antivirus companies try to fight the latest sort of types of viruses and recognize that that's an ongoing battle. Apple opening that up for all of these companies to write their own software and let them try to sell the best app to block those ads, as opposed to Apple sort of taking that under their own wing, recognizing that maybe the crowd can fight these problems better than the hundreds of thousands of people who work at Apple. But I think it's also interesting when you look across the internet and you start to wonder who's at risk here. Because a lot of companies are depending on a lot of revenues from the place where most computing is happening, which is on mobile devices. So if you look at that, that would include Twitter. That would include LinkedIn. But it also, according to Evercore, will include some companies that serve out those ads. Companies like Criteo, companies like Rocket Fuel. Rocket Fuel, companies went public on the idea that they had this great business of helping startup companies have these ads. The stock has mostly collapsed since their IPO, but it could face even more trouble. Over the last 6 months, you've seen the stock fall from almost $10 a share to just above $5, now trading about almost $6 a share. But this company could be at great risk going forward if the ads that it's serving to companies aren't able to be seen by users.
Cory, is this good news for those businesses that rely on subscription models?
So for subscription companies that have based most of their revenues there, that's going to be helpful, of course. For other companies that have found ways to really embed the ads in a much more I won't say subversive, but in a much more sort of user-friendly experience, or at least part of the same experience, things like Instagram or Facebook, for example. Facebook is a company where the ads are so embedded into the use of their app that it's not easily blocked, and taking the ads out of Facebook would be pretty hard for these ad-blocking companies. And that's a big difference. If Facebook might actually have some value because their news feed so embeds the ads that an ad-blocking technology is going to have a hard time doing that.